realm. We've got a lot of show for you tonight. It's like a paranormal Lollapalooza. Joining us this evening, we have not one, but two incredible psychics. We have Seth Suits Healy, an amazing healer, and the fabulous clairvoyant Kim. But that's not all. We're also teaming up with two fantastic channels. We're saying hi to Kim from Crafted Evidence Podcast, and we're also saying hi to Nick from Zowoki. Together, we'll be diving into some spine-tingling paranormal phenomenon, answering your burning questions, and perhaps even conducting a reading or two. Trust me, it's going to be a big night filled with pure paranormal goodness. So while we wait for the rest of our paranormal pals to join us, let's roll some credits and get the show on the road. A special shout out to my Power Replay crew. I love you. Hey guys, welcome to Highly Strange Days. I'm Amy.
And I'm Shannon.
My neighbor Jennifer sits all alone. She dreams of flying up to the moon. And she thinks it's the perfect night for dreaming and make believing.
It's a perfect night to talk about paranormal stuff, don't you? Okay, so let me bring all of them up. Big hello to all of my panel. We've got Jen, we've got Suits Healy, we've got Zowoki, and we've got Kim. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
Guys, can I take a second to say thank you to all those who have served our country? We've got a vet in the house right here in the corner. Thank you, sir, for your service.
Oh, that one.
Oh, you too? I did not know
No. I was.
Oh, that one.
No.
Yes.
No. Not in this lifetime.
Maybe in the next one, but
Maybe,
thank
who
you
knows?
all who have served our country.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Also, I wanted to say really quickly, normally Shannon is up here with me. She's my co-host for Highly Strange Days, but because we've got so many people on panel, she's our lady in blue down in chat. So if you have any problems over in the Power Network chat, that is our moderator. Just direct your questions that way. And yeah, welcome everyone. So did anyone have any good things that I know? Kim, you're on a vacay or something, aren't you?
No, I'm just down visiting my boyfriend actually. So I'm not on vacation, but that's why I don't have my microphone and all my stuff with me. So I hope you can hear me okay.
Oh, well, we appreciate you coming on such short notice.
No,
so
no
thank
problem.
you so much.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Jen, did you want to kick off the night with, I know you had some things.
Yeah, you guys. So this is the first time we have all collabed together, and we all love paranormal and talking about mysteries of the world. So we thought we would start off with psychics. Woo! Paranormal activity in the house right now, guys.
It's all the energy. It's all the energy.
So let's kind of kick it off there. We're leaving you two out of it, but Zowoki, psychics, real, fake?
I'm like on the teeter. I can't say I don't believe. I can't say that I believe because I don't necessarily have had that moment where I've ever talked to a psychic or medium. So.
Oh.
Well, at least
Really?
he's
I
honest.
know you and I have talked about it, but the chat does not maybe know. Some of the newbies know your opinion.
I'm on the fence. I can't figure out which way I want to go.
What
I
about
think
you,
most
Amy?
people have had some experience with the other side, whether they believe in what I do or paranormal or whatever. Most people have had some experience with the other side where they've sent somebody around, where they've had a visit in their sleep or something like that. So most people, not everybody, have had some experience, it feels like, with the other side.
And sometimes people will forget, like their brain will, what I call a psychic haze or a mediumship haze. They'll just forget that they actually had it, and then they'll be driving, or they'll be at a church or at some funeral or something, and it'll just be like a puzzle piece, at least in my experience. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, it depends. I mean, people come to me for basically for two reasons. I'm a medium. I channel people are crossed over. So if you have a loved one who's passed, I can help make that connection and make you feel that they're not really as gone as you think they are.
Right.
Everybody knows this. As you get older, as you get into your 30s, we all feel like the same young person on the inside, right? That's your soul. Your soul doesn't change. Your soul always feels like you're in your 20s, the prime of your life, whether in a body like us or outside a body like our loved ones who are crossed over. So people can relate with that. That doesn't change. Nobody in their 20s would say that because it feels the same. But your soul doesn't change, right? So as you get older and into your 30s, the outside changes, but the outside feels the same. So that's something that that most people, if not everybody, can relate to. And that's tangible, right? So that's your soul. Right. And the person you have the inner dialogue with, your intuition is the best friend you will ever have in your whole life. Your best friend ever. It is never wrong. It's always got your back. It might not be what you want to hear, but it's always right. So I think we make so much work for ourselves. You should just feel your way through life. Right. Never mind what you think. It's about how you feel. And I try to connect. I can't make things happen in people's lives, not yet anyways, but I'm working on it. But I can tell people how to manifest and make the things that they want happen in their life. So for me, people come because they've lost a loved one or they're trying to, make things happen in their life that aren't happening. And I can help them with the tools to make that happen. So that's my kind of experience.
We're talking that it would be fun to have two of you on. And I know, we all have to it'll be hard not to talk over each other, but we'll get it. But both of you have different ways of receiving information. And I noticed that with all mediums and all psychics. So could both of you kind of take turns explaining how you receive information? Do you feel it? Do you smell it? Do you hear it?
Well, for me, it's kind of a combination. I'm mostly technically clairaudient. I hear it. I think everything's vibrational, right? Like thoughts, conversations, everything's energy and operates at different vibrations. So for whatever reason, I can tap into a higher vibration, kind of like a golden retriever, right? So it's just like I can tap in and for the most part, I hear them, but I see them and I feel them as well too. It's sort of like if I said to a baseball, you can see that in your mind's eye without it being in front of you, right? So it's just like images and stuff that come away. They just do whatever they can to try and get the message across. But for me personally, I can hear them more than anything. I can tap into a higher vibration, so I can hear them talk.
So,
that's how I do it.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
I use all kinds of things. I'll use oracle cards. I'll use music. Music will start coming in my head, and so I'll play songs. When I was training, one thing I was trained to do was to find your own system, your own way of working. That there's not just one, and so. For a long time, I was struggling. I'd be getting these messages and I wouldn't know exactly what to do with what I was receiving. And one day, my spirit guide, Arthur, was like, you have over 200, 300 decks of oracle cards. Everything is a vehicle. And so I started using my oracle cards. And then I started finding mediumship cards. And then I started automated writing. And then, and I would make jokes. My spirit team would make jokes. And they'd be like, it's really hard for a lot of people to understand that you're talking to someone who's crossed over in the first place.
Right.
And you're like, I'll give y'all an example. So I was working with this girl probably it was last year. And, your teachers, everybody that, you train with and that you studied with, or if you've what I call armchair study. You did it yourself, right? Just naturally. Told me, they're like, you're going to hear some crazy stuff. You're going to get crazy messages and you have no idea where they're coming from. And I heard the Pokemon soundtrack and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. I'm not singing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I had pulled some cards that showed like two guys together and it kept playing louder and louder in my head. And then I said, okay, I'm going to sing it. And I sang it. And all I saw in the chat was, holy smokes, oh my God, da da da. And the person was a bisexual man, and he their joke was, you got to catch them all. And so that's a line that was in it. And so everything that comes in the universe, in the world, it's the strangest thing for me, at least. A lot of my stuff is I'm the eccentric medium, the intuitive storyteller. So everything from, and my background is in theater and holistic work. So I use everything. And Crafted Evidence can tell you I use everything. Like I will pull out stones, I'll pull out everything I can, because I believe if someone has come to see me and they've given me that honor, then everything at my disposal, right, I'm going to use. So that's just my tip. But I'll use stones. I'll be, hell, I might even use some gummy bears. I might say, oh, somebody's like, oh, who's why do I have gummy bears on my desk? Or, different things, at least in my opinion, right? I think everything that comes is food for the pigeon at times.
It's like you guys are putting a puzzle together and you're only being thrown pieces.
Exactly.
And then like we have to, I feel like, put it together.
Right. I mean,
I personally don't. Yeah, it's different for everybody. I don't use anything at all. I just sort of sit and just quiet with myself, shut off my thinking. That was something that I had to learn. It was to shut off my thinking so that I could hear the messages and stuff that comes through. So, I mean, it's different for everybody. Everything carries a vibration, crystals, cards, I guess, all that kind of stuff. But I don't use any props or anything like that. I never sought out to do this, right? I started having out-of-body experiences at 13. I had them almost every night or day if I had a nap for like 10 years. 10 years. And for the most part, I didn't go anywhere. I just floated around my room. I would see myself sleeping, peacefully sleeping. Never occurred to me that I was going to die. I was never frightened, even though I was a teenager. And at one visit, I did see, I guess, visit heaven, I guess is what it was, and saw a few wonderful things. And I had no religious background whatsoever, so I never really had any thoughts about life after death. But clearly, we do survive this, and I saw some pretty cool things. So.
Yeah,
I think
it's different for everybody. I just hear them. So I just hear them. People, just want proof of life after death, that their loved ones are still around them. I did a reading for a woman 2 days ago, right? And I said her daughter had passed away. I said, you're right, your other daughter's school. I said, you were taking coat hangers for some reason and you spilt them all over the ground. She goes, oh my God, I did. Like, how would I know that unless somebody, her loved one, her daughter or whatever, was watching? It's those kind of things. It's just like, oh my God, you spilled a case of beer. I said to this lady, all over your deck. She goes, I did 2 days ago. I said, yeah, your dad. I said, he saw you do it. That's the kind of things that I go for, right? Because there's no way I can look that up. There's no way I would know that unless their loved one was telling me, right? And then just, you can see it hits them right in the heart, and they know that their loved one is still with us. And that's why I tell them, that part of you that always survives, that always feels young, that's the part of us that survives. And everybody, like I'm repeating myself, can identify with that. So I like to bring it down to earth more than anything else and take the paranormal out of it, because that is what, it's fun, but that's what really helps people, right? Is to take the paranormal out. And I always tell them too, one of the best people is like all children, I believe 3 and under, see them all the time. They don't know they're not supposed to see those people. So they do, right? And if you get an early talker, they can tell you things about people on the other side, and they're never frightened. And if there was something to be frightened of, a 3-year-old would know about it. So I always try and reassure, people. Unfortunately, around 4, it tends to fade. But if you have a young child under 4, it's like having a medium in the house.
Wait a minute. Kim, are you saying that there's nothing to be afraid of? Because I don't agree with that. I think there's good evidence out there.
I've been doing readings for, I guess, about 27 years. I had a TV show. I'm on the radio all the time. I've read for probably 50,000 people. I don't know. There's nothing. I've never, ever been frightened. I'm not saying bad spirits or scary ones don't exist. I haven't experienced it. And if I had it, I couldn't do this, because this only has to add to my life. It can't take away from it. Right? So this can only be a positive thing for me. So I don't know if I just
Kim,
Never occurred to me, but I've never
Kim, your
had a
mic is breaking up a little bit when you're moving, so if
Okay,
you could
I'll sit
maybe
still.
just, yeah.
But
sorry.
I've personally never had a bad or scary experience with a spirit at all or a reading.
Suze,
That's
I can
yeah.
tell you want to jump in.
So
What's that?
I pull cards on everything, right? And obviously, I apologize. Give me your name one more time.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, honey.
Yeah.
Her name is Kim.
Yeah. All right, Kim. So Kim's what I call like an angelic. So her aura automatically is going to be where negativity. She's at such a higher vibration than most everybody else, and she probably say, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." But she is, because what she does is she clears out all the BS from everybody else. And so what her resonation is, like, she automatically, she said you're clairsentient. You hear, right? Is that right?
Clairaudient.
Clairaudient, excuse me.
Yeah.
That's the card that came up for you.
Oh, baby.
So,
Wow, that's cool.
and sometimes people will misjudge people who are going to be in that situation. I don't know if y'all can see that. And the way I think that you do, Kim, is you have a simple life. And when you have a simple life, that takes away all the cloud work, right? Where it's just, hey, I don't need to have this, and this. A lot of psychics and a lot of mediums and a lot of paranormal investigators, holistic workers, they live in the clouds. It's something that just happens because we're such at a higher vibration, right? At least this is my opinion. I want to say this very clear. My opinion, that we tend to, some people just like, oh, I have to do it this way. And what I appreciate right now about Kim is that her frequency, you can just tell. Like, she's supposed to be there with her boyfriend. Spirit said, hey, let's do this, and brought her in. She has this vibe that's automatically going to resonate with everybody watching. I really can't see the chat right now, but everybody there is going to say, oh, okay. They're going to relate to Kim in a way where my ass, excuse my language, the eccentric medium, is they're like, oh my goodness, what's this guy doing? Blah, blah, blah. Where Kim is like, if 65, 45, person who's like, hey, that guy's a little nuts. I can see the young man down there. He's like, this guy is crazy.
No.
I don't know what to do with him. And Miss Z is like, oh, Jesus. But I just want to say this, that everything that you were doing, like everything you were saying, because I always believe, and I was taught, that if someone has a message, right? Or if someone's like, oh, prove it, because that's what we always get. At least I've gotten it.
Right.
Like, prove it. And I will tell you that there was a card, I can't find it right now. But when you said the daughter was looking after it, right? There was a card I pulled that showed a person and a person. So I tend to believe that if you want to understand this stuff, you have, and I'm the most eccentric person there is, so the most complex. You have to keep it simple. So I applaud you, Kim, because I would love to keep it simple. I would be so happy. I would be like, simple life, Paris Hilton edition. But I'm not that guy. All right,
Well, I just try to give people like just what makes them more comfortable with this, so
Right.
it's not as scary, so they feel more comfortable, especially with grief, that their loved ones aren't as gone. You don't really die, you change form, right?
Right,
So
it's
they feel
cheaper.
more comfortable with their loved ones who are crossed over. And I tell anytime you get a reoccurring thought about somebody who's passed, or a memory that kind of comes out of nowhere, to do with your dad or something, where'd that come from? Yeah, look who it's connected to. That's them trying to make a connection with you. So we're all kind of psychic to a certain degree.
Right.
Hopefully, I'm
100%.
just gifted at it like you are as well too. But and
But
I
yeah,
think
you definitely
too,
have the angelic.
if you're in a
angelic
mood,
being
or if you're or thinking about something, you're going to draw those things in as well too, right?
Yeah, I can see
Law
that
of
she
attraction,
does
right?
have kind
Thoughts
of
become
feeling
things.
with her. Paris Milan, thank you so much for the super sticker. And I misunderstood what you meant. I don't fear death, but I do fear some spirits that are dark. So that's just what I meant about the fearing.
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah, I
I'm sure you're totally right, because where there's light, there's dark, there's on, there's off, there's good, there's
Right.
bad. I think that's how the
Yeah.
universe works, right? But I think you're right. I must be well protected, I guess, or else I couldn't do this. right?
Yeah.
So if it was taking away from my life or it was harming me, it only enhances my life. But maybe that's just what I expect too.
You know, I
So-
do know some psychics that get really sick doing this work because I don't think they know how to protect themselves properly.
I never went into this. Like, I never thought, oh, I want to be a psychic. I was a bank teller for Canada Trust. I'm in Canada, right? So I was a bank teller for Canada Trust. I started having out-of-body experiences at 13. They lasted almost 10 years. You can tell me shut up if it's a boring story. And at 23, I had my first child and they stopped. I figured there was probably a connection there if I was sleep-deprived new mom. Nothing for about 2 years. She was a toddler. I went back to work part-time and the intuition phase kicked in. And it was so strong and got stronger and stronger and stronger. And it was like, who's Fred? And I was talking to and it was like, that's my grandpa's passed. And I would be getting information about stuff they did that morning. I just couldn't stay away from it. So it wasn't anything that I sought out to do at all.
Jen, did you have a question?
Yeah, I want to ask both of you to give your opinions on this. And I think, Zowoki, I know Amy and I have talked about this, but Zowoki, I don't know if you've ever thought of this too, but let's say a person crosses over who's been a victim of a homicide.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like when that victim crosses over and you hear them get a reading from a medium, it's always like they're at peace and they're happy.
Yeah.
How are they able to let go? Or are some people still... I feel like I always see positive readings, and it's never like a legit reading where someone's like, yeah, I'm so mad you did what you did. And the three of us cover true crime.
Oh, that.
So-
Okay.
Well,
So do you get what I mean? As
Well, I
like,
think they're aware of what
victim?
happened, but I think all is forgiven up there. They know that was part of their experience of being here. I think we do all come here to learn. I think
Right.
Earth is a big school. I think we're all taking different classes. We're all learning different lessons. No mistakes in life, only lessons. But lessons are repeated till you get them, and learning never ends. And when you can't learn anything more this lifetime around, you're called home. Now, I'm not saying it's not important how a person crosses over or what their experiences were here. And I don't think anybody comes here to have a challenge-free life. Some people have way more challenges than others, but if you didn't have any, you'd never learn anything. Right. So I think that's one thing I try and tell people is like, if you think you're not going to get any challenges along the way, you're going to think the world's out to get you. And some people have way more challenges than others, but I think they're up for it as well too. But I think we all go. I don't know why some people, a lot of this stuff is still a mystery to me. Like, I know a little bit more than the average person. I don't know why some people experience some things and why somebody loses a child and somebody doesn't, or somebody's a victim or whatever. So, or why, you had an abusive alcoholic father. I get this a lot. When they cross over, they come through and they apologize. They don't make excuses. They kind of explain what happened to them while they were here. They don't make excuses, but it's what that person often needs to hear if they didn't get that explanation or that apology or whatever in the physical world. So I just think that can be quite powerful. So they're accepting of what happened while they were here, where they were here. I just do. So I feel like everybody's at peace. I say that too, even if somebody takes their own life. We get that physical things get healed because you can't take your body, right? But emotional things get healed as well too. So if somebody struggled with mental health or took their own life, I'm like, we all leave this world voluntarily. This is just my spin, right? Right? It's more evident. I mean, it's more in your face when somebody takes their own life or if somebody's murdered. But I think that's how it works. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I've channeled lots of people who have had abusive lives here or were murdered or whatever, and they're not in denial or about what happened, but they're at peace. That's what it's called, heaven. It's not Earth anymore. It's like, thank goodness, yeah. It's so much better and so much more up there. I visited a couple times, so I don't think you ever worry about anybody who's crossed over. It's always the ones that are here.
Yeah, that's.
Do they have those emotions though still to be like jealous, angry, or is it
no?
only
You know what?
peace?
Because for me, I get this a lot. I'm like, oh, your mom's coming through. I'm like, oh, your dad's here, like in the same room. I'm like, oh, I don't have to be psychic to know they weren't together in the real world. And I'm like, no, they're here for you. I'm not saying they hang out all the time up there, but there's no bad feelings up there. There's no hard feelings on the other side. Not that I've experienced. Not everybody's at peace. Everybody's at peace. So just like I said, just through personal experience that they are. There's no illness. There's no, one of the few famous people I've channeled was Christopher Reeve. I'm from Calgary, and the first Superman was filmed here, and one of his best friends came for a reading. So I always say, if Chris Reeve isn't in a wheelchair, nobody is. So you never worry about anybody who's crossed over. I don't think it's always the ones that are here.
So
What made you decide to channel famous people?
I didn't. His friend came. I've channeled a handful of famous people. It's only because their family have come. So
Because you have
Reed,
interesting people. You have Clyde Barrow, Lucy.
That was the first one. That was the first famous person. Yeah, his second cousin.
Oops, you can't move because you don't have a mic on. When you move like that, it's making a lot of noise.
You've also got a lot of spirit in the room. So she's got a lot of spirits in the room. So
there is a lot.
That's probably me. And well, Christopher, the first Superman was filmed in Calgary. So one of his best friends lives in Calgary still, and he came for a reading. Clyde Barrow, his second cousin, a woman, that was the first famous person I found. She came for a reading. And I kind of remember, I was like, oh, I said, a really bad guy here, a criminal. She goes, oh my gosh, keep going. And I said, boy, he's really nicely dressed. I can't remember the whole thing. That was like 25 years ago. But her second cousin was Clyde Barrow. I read for the great niece of Lucy Maud Montgomery, who wrote Anne of Green Gables. Who was the other one? Oh, Lizzie Borden. In fact, her house is now a B&B. And I actually went there and did a reading there and spent the night in the room where the stepmother was hacked to death. I'm sorry to say nothing happened.
You a brave soul. You a brave soul, let me tell you.
Everybody looked at me in the morning. I'm like, I don't know. I had trouble sleeping because there was no TV and I forgot my book, but nothing happened. But when I did a reading there, I saw all kinds of things, how the house was set up when she lived there. Yeah, it was different. So
I stayed at a haunted B&B in Ohio, and Pitt chose the most haunted room, and there was nothing. Nothing happened.
Well, it's like hauntings. I mean, I live in a house built in 1888. There's a little girl that runs through there all the time. I'm pretty sure she lived there in 1911. But just like visiting your childhood home, you know, But, you know, if I could just talk to anybody, I'd talk to Princess Diana or Charlie Watts. I don't know. There's a bunch of people. I'd love them to come through and talk to me. But, I mean, they can, but it just doesn't happen that way for me. I have to be sitting with somebody who's connected to somebody who's famous. That's how it's worked for me so far, but they're welcome to visit me anytime. Because I'd never be able to validate it, right? Validation is everything, right? Just to be able to sit with somebody and,
Suits Healy, do you channel, or how do you do? I know you work with your cards, but you do channel?
I do everything. So
you do everything?
I know that sounds very vague, but it's true. That's why I call myself the eccentric medium and the intuitive storyteller. A plus B equals C. I wish that every homicide, when I do readings on TikTok especially, because a lot of times people, they won't tell you the whole story. Right. When I say tell the whole story, you don't we had
the victim, you mean, right? Like the victim, not the person who's reaching out to you for the reading. Right.
Right. Yeah. No. So the victim. Right. We had and they didn't tell me. And so if they tell me, it's a little different. I can set up a lot more guards. Right. I can it's sort of like putting a dam up. And when the water's coming, you have so much energy because different spirits want to come through. Right. Because you might have 10, 20 people in a room. And in this case, the spirit did come through. It did not know it had passed. It was still stuck in the shower. He was a heroin addict. He was angry and mad. And so it was like, imagine a time machine, right? And getting in a time machine and walking into that room, right? With him and him being just in that same mindset that he was. It was very frightening. It was very frightening for me. It was very frightening for everybody in the room. Everybody in the room felt the energy. It was very, very intense. The one reason why I use the cards is it's like as a buffer for me. And so as I'm an Aries, and so my energy is really a lot of fire, a lot of just whoa, whatever you want to call it. And I'm a character. And so as a character, things will just sort of I'll take physicalities, I'll do different things. Right. And so in my experience, my guides have told me, they said, hey, this is the thing, especially on TikTok, especially on when you are in a cyber, because it's energy, it's all energy, right? It's all vibration. The message was clear. You have to know exactly if it was a homicide or if it was this, or, if there was SA or if there was anything like that, you need to know it because it could disrupt your chat. That's A. B, it could trigger a lot of people in the room, right? Now, if I was doing a private reading, I would say, hey, and I'll do that sometimes. And when I'm on TikTok, I'll be like, hey, we might need to do a private reading. My guys will come in and be like, this is a private reading. That's what this is. This is not to be, and they'll be like, yeah, that's right. And then some people just want to, come in there and have one-on-one, like, chat fest. And that's a little different for me. But with spirit, when they have crossed, I've had people come like who've done really bad things. I had a person who was the perpetrator. And like you said, he, and it was very, very difficult to do the reading. Very, very, because I kept saying, your dad's here. And she was like, what? I said, your dad is here and he's kicking the ground and he's looking down and he's, walking back and forth and opening a beer can and throwing it away and walking down these stairs and going up and down. And it seems like he wants to say, he just says, I want to say, anything I say doesn't matter. And you just, the energy in the room, my energy in the room just went whoosh. And I said, I'm not going to say what it is. And she's like, thank you. I said, he says it doesn't matter. He knows it doesn't matter, but he's sorry. And like that, he was gone. And then her mom appeared and was just bawling because at the time her mom didn't know. So she wanted to know, she wanted the client to know that if she would have known, it would have been different. And so when, and this went on for, she took care of the mother and she took care of the father when he was sick and ill. And so it was, that really was intense. So, and I just believe, like, especially if you're in a group setting, right? If you're in a group setting, you must respect everyone in the room. And so with me using the cards and stuff, I'll say, hey, the cards are going to speak. I'm not going to speak. Bam. And that allows me to have that buffer where they say, oh, hey, that's not, if I'm like, oh, root chakra, sacral chakra, that area, solar plexus, right? You can deduce what I'm talking about. You can, different things. And so I just believe you have to, we're all in a healing process. Like you said earlier, we're in a school and everybody has different belief systems. Some people are cosmic related. Some people are very Christian based. Some people are, my belief is believe in something. Please just believe in something. So
I believe in a higher power. I think as soon as you wrap an identity around it, the planet starts to divide.
Believe in a foundation.
Just a higher power.
And
I don't know how it all works, but I don't know how.
I don't think I heard, Suits, how did you know you were psychic? We heard Kim's story, but what was your story?
Well, I know I was a psychic when I was younger. And without being too blue, let's see. My second endeavor would be that my dad had died. I was in LA and I had moved back to Mississippi, and I was dating a girl. We'll just put it that way. And she was not a girl of the highest vibration. We'll just put it that way, right? And we heard, get out of my house. Everybody, like me, her, she freaked out. I freaked out. And next thing I know, she's running out the house. Okay, so I'm like, okay, that's weird. And so the next thing was I started collecting comic books. I started reading comic books. And it felt like I was picking these certain comics and they were telling me stories and stuff. And they were really relating, like my dad was talking to me through the comics. And so one day my friend said, hey, you got to go to this comic book store over here. You got to go get this guy's going to tell you what comics to read. I was like, okay, I'll go. And he was there. He's like, telling him about The Haunting or whatever it was. He's like, you got to go investigate with these guys. And I had never been investigating before. And I went there. That was crazy. It was a Masonic city that had become a ghost town called Rodney. which was the capital of Mississippi for a long time. And then after I left that group, I got what I call touched. And I was down in Mobile, Alabama, which is one of the most haunted places in the world. And I was in a speakeasy. And I walked in, I just bought like a nice camera, right? I was filming. I was all like, ghost adventure kind of guy, right? And we walked in, and I felt, and we were going up the stairs, and I heard I said, all right, I'm going up. Y'all going down. After 2 hours, they're like, suits, or they called me ghost bait. Get on down here. And so I got down, and I had my camera, right? And I was like this. And I was just, and there was a medium right behind me and another medium right in front of me. And I felt this. Went boom. And I jumped. My camera flew in the air. And everybody heard it. I just got you. And scared me to death. And I was the evidence collector for the group. And so I wouldn't go upstairs in my house. I was sat down in my living room by a fireplace, and I finally had to go over the evidence. And that's when I knew. I was like, I'm a medium. And I would hear things that people wouldn't hear. I've always been psychic. I've always been intuitive. That's always been. But the universe said, hey, we're going to make you the eccentric medium. We're going to do this. And then I went to school for it and learned the values and morals of being a medium. And also being intuitive. And so
I didn't know there was a school.
Yeah, I got certified as a psychic medium, and I became a Reiki master teacher, which anybody out there who wants to become a paranormal investigator or a psychic or a medium, I highly recommend, without a shadow of a doubt, becoming a Reiki master first, because you understand energy. And that's all it's, in my opinion, because
you want to help them heal. I more tried them. You can't heal anybody. I think you can only help them heal themselves.
Right. You can only show them.
I don't think you can heal anybody. You only have control over one soul, your own. That's it.
But
you can put people. I even tell them even how you talk to yourself is huge. Right. Thoughts become things. So never be in denial if you're sick about your health, no matter what it is. But always do it the Irish way. I always say I'm healing. Right. I am in perfect health. I'm on the beach now. I have financial freedom. At front, we're parking at Costco. Business is booming. Thoughts become things, and you always talk to yourself like you already have something that you have. But a lot of times, illness, I think, begins with a thought, right? Thoughts become things in our body. That's why if you worry over a long period of time, you can get an ulcer, right? So I think that's true for all illness as well, too. So I would say, look at the body part. I don't know all of them, but look at the body part, and it'll give you a clue as to what you've been holding on to. Lungs are grief, liver is anger, kidneys are fear. We know that stomach is anxiety. Cancers are a deep resentment, I think. It's something you've been carrying around for a long time. And they're always so shocked when I say, oh, you got prostate cancer. I said, you had issues with your dad. How did you know? I'm like, lucky guess. No, because that's a male part, right? So it's something, not just a moment with your dad, but it's something you've been carrying along for a long time. It doesn't mean you had a bad father. Maybe you lost him when you were 3 and you never dealt with it or whatever. But when you don't, that's why it's so important, especially for everybody, especially for children, to get help when they have trauma in their lives, because they don't have the life experience to deal with it.
Exactly.
And so they leave it to their own imaginations to figure crap out. And then, and then if they don't get the proper help, that's how they end up getting sicker and lousy relationships themselves.
Yeah,
so that's why I think that everything begins with a thought. Yes. You got to watch how you talk to yourself, right? Thoughts become things, right? And the universe doesn't understand a joke either. Oh, this rate will be working when I'm 80. Yeah, you'll be working when you're 80. Oh, I knew it. Yeah, you did. You set the whole thing up yourself. Tell yourself, I have financial freedom, and then live the dream in your head. What would it feel like to never worry about money again? What would you buy? Who would you help? See, those are things I do because those things are tangible and people can use those in their lives, right? To make a better life for themselves. They're always wondering why, I keep drawing in the same bad experience all the time. Well, nothing changes if nothing changes. You got to look at how you got to change how you're looking at your situation differently. And if you'll do that, you'll get a different response. That's true with everything. That's true with everything.
Well, the natives are getting restless in the chat. They want to start asking some questions. So, guys, if you have a question, if you could just put a question mark in front of the question, because it makes it much easier for me to see, and maybe Shannon can start starring a few of them for me and I can pull them up. But I see one right here. I'm just going to take the first one I see. Maura says, would love to know if you can gain the paranormal back, because as child I got close to those that passed over the Rainbow Bridge, but was it because I was a vulnerable child with learning issues?
Well, I think all children 3 and under, if you ask me, see them all the time. They don't know they're not supposed to see them. And like I said, if you get an early talker, they can tell you things about people on the other side. You know, toddlers will point, wave, wave, you know, it seems like they're chatting with other people and stuff like that. You know, so, and like I said, they're the best indicators that there's absolutely nothing to be frightened of, right? And unfortunately, around 4, it tends to fade. I don't know if this is a situation, it's been my experience that it sometimes continues with special needs children. Sometimes it'll stay with them longer, or it'll just stay with them if they do have special needs. So I always think special needs kids are angels in disguise that come here to teach us how to be better people. That's what I think.
I feel like
yeah, I do, because you have to be a real.
You guys are like smiling. You know, I'm like,
what's that?
Yeah, I said I can see them smiling because they know that I'm like connecting to that.
There you go. I do. I think they have special assignments. I think they do. So
I mean, yeah, there's a reason why they're called the exceptional population. So special needs, right? When I was studying education, I was going to be a theater teacher. This was a couple of years ago. I was at the Kennedy Center, and they had started this whole new exploration, and it was called, you know, we don't want to call them special. They're not special needs. They are the exceptional population, which I find fascinating.
I think that's special. I do. I think they come here to teach us how to be better people. I really do. Yeah. And I think they want a break this time around as well too. I do. I just think they want a bit of a break. Maybe they had a hard time the previous life. You know, I don't think anybody's on their first or last life. I think some people have had more lives as well too, which you've heard of old souls. You know how I think is the easiest way to pick up.
Like, my son has autism. He's high functioning, but he is so connected, you guys, to
I know. I believe
the planets in the solar system that I know we know how long people have been on the moon, but like there's this part of me that feels like he has this connection to the past, into like planets or something.
Well, the thing is, like young kids and special needs kids,
space.
They totally go by instinct, which we all should, right? We can learn so much from our pets and young kids. They completely go by feelings or by instinct. But yeah, I think special needs kids have people have special assignments here. So yeah,
there's a lot of theories too that the exceptional population, the special needs, they resonate at such a higher frequency than everybody else. So what like we see in 3D, right? And or 4D, whatever you want to call it. I make a joke. Blue joke, but I'm not making it here. That we all are resonate. We want to get to 5D. They're already there. They're seeing things like their eyes see things that we're like, oh, that's
I think it doesn't leave them like most kids when they're like around 4 years old or something like that. So I think they just come here to do bigger things. I do. I think they have bigger assignments here.
Sherry Parent wants to know why do we all feel deja vu? Is it our past life?
No, I don't think so.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I would say that Pat. I hate to say no because that's not the right thing. In my personal experience and my work, deja vu, more of a glitch in the Matrix, more of what I call the Antarctica syndrome, where there may be another you somewhere, and that other you has experienced things that are a lot like what you are experiencing. And so when I'm doing like intuitive work, and I'll tell them, I say, if you've ever seen The Dark Knight and you go down and when Batman's Batcave is all blown up, like, right? And he's going down this new place and there's all these screens, right? And you can see all of Gotham. And I'm like, that's how my work does. Like I'll see all these screens and then one will be like vibrating at a certain frequency. And I'll be like, oh, that one. And like my past life stuff, I'll be like, the craziest thing I've ever seen, I'll pull out cards and everything. And I'll be like, oh, and we'll make a joke. I'll be like, if I pull out Egypt, I'm throwing the cards away. And I'll be like, bam, Egypt. Because people resonate at a certain frequency. But with deja vu, it's more, in my opinion, again, you may have a different one. When I'm doing a past life reading, I look and I say, okay, first off, what's going on with you now? Because usually when your past life, you're seeing stuff in your past life, it is a wound, usually, that has not been healed. And the great thing about time, in my opinion, is that it is fluid. And so if you start healing the wound here, then in the past, quote unquote, it starts to heal. And so in essence, you have closed the book, and then your soul, right, is going to be more clear and more safe when you come back, say a second time or a third time, or, you know, you get up to go up and you're like, hey, finally, woohoo, out of this simulation. Does that make any sense?
Mhm.
Kim,
I don't think
I
anybody's on their first or
agree.
last life. I think some people have had more lives.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
an old soul. I think you know how I think is the easiest way to pick out an old soul in the everyday world? Old souls are naturally drawn to the service of others. They're the
Right.
teachers, the nurses, the social workers, the people who work with animals. In a crisis, they're the helpers, right? That's an old soul, because what goes around comes around. That's all karma is. There's a zillion ways to say it. I'm not a Bible person, but it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you have it done to you. Teachers and nurses may feel overworked and underpaid, but they never feel empty, right? So I think those people have had a few more lives. I have a great life. It's not because I'm psychic, it's because I help people all day, right? What goes around comes around. Be a good person and help other people. You'll have a blessed life, right? So I try to take it. I try to keep it as simple as possible. For me, and so that it really does help people. Because if it's a little bit too out there, they're not going to be able to connect with it. They're not psychics, right? Or they're not. So I try to keep it in a place where they feel like they came away with something. They feel like their loved one, or some tools, you know, to make a better life and to create the stuff that they've wanted. So, and if anybody puts a block in the way of bringing what they want, it's them. It's usually how they think and how they, oh, I'm just going to get more of the same. Well, yeah, you will with that attitude. You will.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when I would work with Ganesha. I'd work on that.
But I think and I think we do get little moments of past life things. You know, you feel like something that's always kind of resonated with you, but it really has nothing to do with who you are this time around. It could be a clue to a past life. You know, my youngest daughter is a white Irish girl, but she's loved everything Japanese ever since she was wee. Like Japanese cartoons, Japanese food. Her first best friend was a Japanese Canadian girl. She's going to Tokyo on her honeymoon. I mean, I don't know for sure, but if I was a betting woman, I'd say that Brenna had a past life in Japan. So sometimes with some people, you can really see it. You can.
Yeah,
you don't
I think
have
you're
to.
right.
Yeah. I think the best my personally is to have somebody who's really legit, can put you under hypnosis so you can bring it forward yourself. Because your soul is a combination of all the lives that you've had, right? So if you can go under like Bruce Weiss or something and bring it forward, I think that's probably the best way of validation, because you can't really validate that stuff, right?
I did a past life regression for when I was 17 years old. It was my high school graduation gift, and it was my first time ever doing anything like that. And I remember just being, I hear a lot of clicking. I just remember my body it kept like spasming, and he said it was because it was in my DNA and I was remembering. It was very odd feeling, sensation. Never had anything like that before since, but guys, if we could just give this live a thumbs up, helps us dance out into the algorithm party out there, bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help us out. Cuff You says, I am very intuitive and I have a male spirit that has just come into my home and he is angry. What do I do?
Tell him to leave. He's not welcome. I don't know. I don't know why. I wonder what makes her think that he's angry. He shouldn't be angry at her. I think everybody's kind of at peace up there. Sometimes, I'm not saying sometimes we just feel so uneasy because we don't understand, what we can't see, or sometimes that maybe it's just making her feel uneasy. But I don't know. I don't know if anything's really happened to her, and I don't think personally, I don't think a random male spirit is just going to show up and just be angry with her. But that's just me.
I have seen where there are some people who love the paranormal, right? And, the old saying, if you go looking for it, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
And, I think it is, if you've ever seen Hellraiser, right? And they had the puzzle box. And they're like, don't open the puzzle box. Don't open the puzzle box. Pinhead even says it. Don't you don't want to do that. And, they open the puzzle box and, right? People don't know. The first rule of paranormal investigating, when I was being trained as a paranormal investigator, the first rule was you go in, you ask them what they've been watching. A, that's what you want, first thing. 2, you ask them where they have been. 3, you ask them, have you brought anything into the house that has not been cleansed? It's like from an antique store. 4, have you gone recently to any place that may have been of a lower vibration? Now, lower vibration in the sense of your vibration. So like some people might say a bar is a lower vibration, right? And somebody might say, oh man, I love the bar. It's the greatest thing in the world, right? But whatever your perception of what a lower vibration is, that's going to allow the wounds that you have, things to come. And in theory, she might say there's an angry man, but like you said, frequencies are going to show up as what they can be closely identified as. So if, like the old saying, if you see a child, run. Not necessarily true in spirit form, but people, the media and the industry and the matrix, right, has made it so intense, and everybody's like, oh, I don't understand it. He's doing this, that, these, and those. Well, that could have been his house, and you could just be awakening, right? And as you are awakening, you're starting to sense his presence, and it may be startling him, right? We don't know exactly what's on the other side, and there's so many different theories about the other side. There's so many different computations, and if you think about the matrix, if you're one of those people, if you're on the Christian spectrum, all these different things. And so your simulation, or however you want to call it, your life is your life. Her life is her life. So she says angry. I would like to say, like you said, what's the proof of the anger? Are they
Probably
throwing
noisy.
Yeah. Are they noisy?
That's what I'm thinking.
Or do you like when different kinds of, there's different kinds of things. Like I was investigating a Dar house, a Dar of the American Revolution, right? And a father had wanted his daughter to marry somebody else, right? And got very violent with her, right? That energy, that residual energy, stayed in that house. And we would investigate it, right? And they investigated it multiple times until a medium, beside myself, came in and was like, dude, this is a residual energy. And what you're doing is like hitting a wasp nest every single time, right? And it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And you're just like a poltergeist, and you're feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. So if you continually say you're angry, you sit down at the table, have a little cup of coffee or whatever, just sit there and be like, hey man, if you're not going to be cool, leave. If you're not going to leave, and just start playing high vibrational music, and start being in the highest vibration. And that, in my opinion, unless it's very serious. And if it's very serious, that's when you call like a professional medium in to sit there and be like, okay, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great advice. So I think Shannon wants to know, can I ask about my late husband? His birthday would have been May 23rd. I felt him around. Does he have a message for me?
All right, this is what I said I'd do. You see this? See this little card deck here? Right? You see how it has not been opened? See that?
Kim, do you feel anything while he's opening it?
Yeah, I just kind of feel like he wants to say that he's with his dad. It was sort of, I just feel like they're both of them there. And I just feel like a young man is with him as well, too. So I don't know if the guy had a brother who passed or something a long time ago. But I get an older man, I think it's his dad, and a younger fella that passed quite a while ago as well, too.
And did you say he's with his cat?
His dad.
Oh, his dad. Sorry.
Maybe a cat, too. All pets really do go to heaven. We know that they have souls because they have personalities.
Oh, there's a cat.
So you have two people. Yeah, the two people together. So that would make sense.
Does that make sense, Shannon?
Yeah.
What other question did she have?
I wanted to ask.
He said that his birthday would have been May 23rd. I felt him around. Does he have a message for me?
Rejoice in celebration. And don't be bored.
Oh, Amy, I can't pin that, but she is giving confirmation that that card does resonate with what. Yeah. I want to ask Zowoki, this is the most quiet you've ever been on a live ever, you guys, which is funny. But since Nick is on the fence, I kind of want to throw him in the fire here. Do you guys feel anything for him psychically or from someone who's crossed over? And I don't mean to put either of you on the spot. And if nothing comes in, nothing comes in. But
Yeah, I just get an older gentleman. I don't know if it's your dad or your grandpa. Who was small town or farmer? What is that?
Mm,
Oh,
Yeah.
it feels like I thought maybe it was your dad's dad.
my grandfather, but
Mhm.
he's been gone for 32 years.
That doesn't matter. There's no sense of time on the other side. Just feel like a small town guy. But you knew him, I think, right? You looked young. Yeah.
I was
He was
second
patting
grade
on
when
the
he
head like
passed.
her little boy. So, wow. Yeah. Do you go for walks or do you bike ride or something like that?
Nope. I'm too busy doing this.
Are you? Okay. All right. I just saw you out for a walk. But anyways, it just feels like a grandfather kind of feels like on your dad's side, I think. And it just feels like a small town boy. I just see him patting you on the head like your little boy.
Okay, let's see.
what
Nah.
about you, Suits?
All right. See this? We'll do it again.
Does he have them all new?
Oh, this dude's you guys, when he said he has 300 decks, he's not joking. Like on TikTok, he just like starts grabbing decks all night long. And the thing about Suits that I like is when he doesn't he's always determined to get something from someone, and you can tell the pieces are being thrown, but it's like he's putting pieces together. And personally, I've had my best friend come through with him, and her personality just came out the way she was in life, and that's how I know it was her. So I'm just kind of curious if something comes in for Nick. But some of us, they do say that maybe someone we don't expect will come in, that we're not even wanting to come to, so we have to like be open-minded to that.
So I never do Zoom readings or TikToks or any of that stuff, right? Like,
Just
it's too
I didn't do them
distracting
either
for me.
until the
It's too
bid.
distracting for me. I do either in person or telephone readings. That's all.
We do have a confirmation that he passed in 2020 and his dad and brother
I
both
passed
proceeded.
with them, yeah. So it just feels like he's got both of them there with him.
We
His name
moved
Jim
on
is
so
well, too.
quickly from it. I just
Just so y'all
wanted
can
to say,
see.
I just wanted to say really quickly, we moved so quickly from Shannon that Shannon, I love you, and I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Very sorry.
Send positive energy your way.
I feel like I've got somebody here. I don't know who it's connected to, but I feel like he drowned, which is kind of a different
Shannon?
way to go. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. So it just feels like
Yes.
feels like a young man that drowned.
are you a Marvel guy?
No.
Yeah, except for all the stuff behind him. Yeah.
Magic of Marvel. Oh.
Anyone who might connect to that drowning in the chat, we'll pull you up while he's doing this. And
I
you
hear
just
some.
open
I hear
that deck.
music. I'm hearing bum 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 bum. Da 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 da.
That's Spider-Man.
Was who was like very much like did you watch Dead Poet Society?
No.
Robin Williams.
It's been a while since I've seen that. Dead Poets Society. Oh, that's back in high school days.
Notice somebody's going to message in. I feel like somebody drowned. It feels like it was a young fella. It was a while ago.
Shannon, did you have anybody that drowned? I know there was stuff. I know what happened to. I know you have some other things in your, but I don't think he drowned.
Might be somebody who's
Rachel
message
saying
in.
she had a neighbor.
Okay.
What did you pull?
We're
not going away from the drowning. We will come back. We'll figure
Oh,
out
that's
who
fine.
this message
That's
is
fine.
for.
That's
Yeah.
fine. It might be somebody who messages in. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's someone in the
So
chat.
we've got Wiccan, which is self-control. Never heard of it. Which would go ahead with your back with all the stuff that you have. So we have this eccentric kind of nature. Are you a Wolverine fan?
No.
Okay, well, when I'm alone, I'm in great company. So what that would mean is when you're alone in great company, that could translate to a lot of things. One is that you don't necessarily follow the grain. You go against it. You have a sense of humor. You are always going to take care of everyone else before yourself. Sometimes your humor can be off-putting, much like Deadpool.
Yeah.
You are constantly going, like it says, ready, steady, go. There is, hold on.
Can you zoom in on that? Because it's so funny. It's almost kind of like his
No,
his
I can't. I
logo.
don't have it set up, or I
No,
would
no,
have.
I meant him. I meant Suits.
Oh.
Like, can he hold it up? Yeah. The purple just like made me think that's like his signature.
Right, ready, steady, go.
Color.
And let's see. I keep on getting owls with you and fish. And then Black Panther keeps coming up for you. We had Shuri earlier, and I was like, no, I don't like that. But Black Panther, that might be one of your spirit animals, or power frequencies. Excuse me, I hate the word. I'm not indigenous, so I'm not gonna say that. Are you a dog guy?
A doll?
Dog.
I
Do you
have
play
3
with
dogs. Lockjaw.
Yeah.
A good dog.
A good guard dog is hard to find.
Yeah.
The
We
message
can't
here is
spend
focused.
too much time on one person because we've only got like
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
little bit of time.
I got all
If you
kinds of
want to
stuff to go.
just wrap it up with Zowoki. Zowoki, did you have any questions or anything?
No.
No.
Just
You know, the thing is,
interested.
if people aren't, I mean, a lot of people can be skeptical. That makes sense, right? With what it is. But if
Yeah.
people are really closed off, it's just like, it's
Yeah.
hard to,
Yeah, it's
to get anything
impossible.
from
It
it.
is
really
true.
is. It's just like,
You can
and
just
that's
see
why one of the best things
you can
charges
just
for
see by
reading
his
is
voice that he is very skeptical and you're not going to get through. So
well,
we're
it's just like, I
wasting
just
your time
usually,
there.
I don't bother. Those people don't bother. They don't bother to spend the money to come for a reading.
But
Right?
Zowoki,
Oh,
did you
I
have a
disagree.
dream that you Zowoki, did you have a dream you wanted to share with us that maybe they could interpret for you?
Well,
Yeah,
it's more I wanted him to share.
You're
it.
bullshitting, right? Did he say dream?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Well, dreams
Well,
are just purging stuff. It's like your subconscious mind. I think there's dreams, visits, and nightmares. A nightmare means you're not talking about stuff enough, right? They're trauma related. Doesn't mean they're going to come
A
true. That's
dream where, well, we all three, like I said, cover true crime, and I don't like want to make him feel uncomfortable and put him on the spot, but
Oh, you're fine.
Well, he was about to share it and everyone spoke over him. Can you just
I
share
just
it?
wanna
Because
make
we're
sure I
short on
know-
time, you guys. Let's
Okay.
just keep it going.
Go
Come
for
on.
it. Okay.
Share it.
I just didn't want to put him on the spot. Okay, so
No.
Nick, share it.
Yeah, so I've been in the Watts case for how long? It's been like a year and a half. And for some reason, somehow this dream or whatever it was, it didn't feel like a normal dream. And Shanann had come to me and says that she is at peace. And that you're on to something. I want you to continue what you're doing, kind of thing. And I'm like talking to her after she had talked to me, and she just kind of made the gesture that just keep doing what you're doing, and then just kind of left. But she had come to me and I didn't want to feel like weird by telling my chat and everything that had happened. I just don't know what to take from what she said.
Kim,
Okay.
Shanann
Never
is
met
a
this person.
Kim
FYI.
Shanann is
Yeah.
a victim of a true crime case that we all follow. How do you feel about that? What do you get?
What crime is it? What's the?
It's a true crime case. Shanann is a we can't say the M word, so we call it the unalive. She's an unaliving victim of a true crime case. Her husband unalived her. She was pregnant, and she had 2 daughters, and he unalived them as well. What do you get from that?
What do you want to know? Like he did it, right? Is that right?
No.
Why
she
did
came
she come
him
to
in a
me out
dream.
of all people?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
why
a
did-
YouTuber. I'm just a
Like
YouTuber.
Nick's never met her.
I've
Oh,
never met her
okay.
before.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, like I said, most of the stuff is a mystery. Why would they come to you? I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm not sure why they would reach out to you. But they got him, didn't they? He was charged with the murder, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Do you
I'm
have
not
any
sure.
thoughts
Like
on
I said,
it?
most of the stuff is a mystery. I'm not sure why they would reach out to you because it doesn't seem you can do much with the information either. So
No.
yeah,
Since
the
you
only thing I
get-
think about, were you thinking about it before, contemplating it or anything like that, or wondering about it, or anything before you had the visit?
No, I'm just trying to figure out if the mistress that was in the mix had something to do with the involvement, and she just says follow with what you're doing, like what I'm looking at. I don't know if she's wanting me.
Were you helping
continue.
with this or interested in this before? That's what I'm wondering.
No, I started it a year and a half ago, and I just been
Well,
really
the
deep
mistress
diving.
didn't. I don't think the mistress had anything to do with the murder, which was probably the reason why he did it. That's probably not to be psychic to know that, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anytime you watch Dateline, they always start out with they were just a lovely couple, but somebody's going to get murdered. So, yeah.
Suits, do you pick anything up with that dream he had?
So
Before we
the
move
crazy
on.
thing is, and you can vouch for this, I put all my cards up, right? That's something I do all the time. This card was that. Shambhala Himalayas, happiness. I think she came to you, and one thing is because, all these people go through these true crimes, and they're not happy. They're trying to find some kind of, like, and it's not everybody, but a lot of people, their misery, quote unquote, right? They try to understand their misery through other people's loss.
Seems so
Does that make any sense? And it appears for you, it's like you're a happy guy. Like, let's just look at the situation. All right. Look at his backdrop. Okay. He knows what makes him happy and he doesn't care. Right. He also is someone who is going to speak his mind and say what he needs to say. And it'd be like, he's the kind of guy that if they literally had evidence and he saw it right then and there, right? And he's like, oh my God, this is empirical evidence, right? We'll just use that word.
Okay.
He would be like, I'm doing it. Like,
So what are you doing with it? Are you doing anything with it? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it.
Well, that's just it. That's why I'm just like, if you were really meant to do something with it, I don't think they give you half a message. I more think that maybe you were contemplating it or thinking about it or something like that. But for them just to, I don't know, without
Randomly.
Yeah.
It's hard because the victim's family wants this closed and doesn't.
So
want
he was
people-
never charged, the
No,
husband?
he was charged, but
He was
Okay.
charged,
there is
but
speculation. Go ahead,
Respect-
Nick. You can.
there's speculation. There is, I feel, my digging and everything for the case for almost a year and a half, that the mistress was involved. I don't think she was the catalyst in the murders, but I think she helped clean house, and she had gotten things resolved so that he would be off the hook, so they could be together like
But
they
I thought
wanted
he got
to.
convicted, didn't he? Charged.
He
convicted.
did.
Oh.
But that's why everything stopped, is because he confessed, and
Right.
so they didn't continue the deep dive into NK or
I don't
go to trial.
really, who knows? I don't really think she was involved. I don't even think she knew about it. I don't think he
No.
told her, to be honest with you. I don't. I think that was the reason why, which is probably obvious, is he wanted to be with her. But I personally don't think that she was involved or knew that he was going to do it. And I don't see her doing anything because I kind of feel like when they were talking to police and stuff, or when they were talking to her, I feel like she didn't know what was going on. I think she believes he
I
did
believe
it
she
now. I
did
don't know where they
know.
are in
I
this, but
think
I
she
think
knew
so.
a lot. But let's take one more question, and then let's go quickly over your bios where everyone can reach you, because we're up on the top of the hour. Maura wanted to ask Kim, have I done something wrong, as seems to have lost spirit world over past 10 years, or they come back to this earth?
So I don't know what she means by lost the spirit world, because you can't lose them. There's nowhere for them to go. She might not be feeling them as loudly as she has in the past. That's probably it. You know, when with reincarnation, two things. I think when somebody has taken on another life form, they're not going to come through. I can't channel them, right? So, but my personal feeling is that there's no sense of time on the other side, but I think it's like 80 to 100 life years. I think there's other evidence that there doesn't take that long, but I don't think they're in a big hurry to reincarnate. I read for women in their 80s all the time, and they lost their grandmother at 4 and they still come through, and give evidence that it's them. So personally, I don't think that anybody's in a big hurry to reincarnate. So that's why I always kind of reassure people, doesn't matter how long you live. If you lost your mom at 5, she'll still be there. Moms usually come for us. They bring us into this world. So usually come and help us out. So it's usually if they've gone before the first person that you're going to see. So.
And Kim, if they want to reach out to you for reading, how would they do that?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. My website is clairvoyantkim.com, and I'm Clairvoyant Kim on Facebook as well too.
Okay. And Suits, how would they reach out to you if they wanted to do a reading with you?
You can email me at mrsuitshealy@gmail.com. You can follow me on TikTok. You can message me there. I've been off TikTok for a little bit, recharging for everything that's about to engage our energies. So, you go to my website too, Healing with Healy, or mrsuitshealy.com. The prices are not exactly right now, as we are revamping the whole product, the whole brand, excuse me. And but just say, hey, I found you on this, and we'll figure something out. And because I know a lot of people have questions, and they're like, oh, this resonates with me, that doesn't resonate with me, blah blah. Kim has one way, I have another.
Everyone has different.
Everyone has their own way. So
okay. We will be sure to put the links to all of your socials and where they can find you down in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for asking me and having me on.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys. Nick said his power just went out, you guys. So
okay. That was a lot of fun, John. I heard that his power went out, but I also wanted to show our channels really quick. But I wanted to say goodbye, not hold up the psychics any longer. But also I wanted to show them that Zowoki, this is his channel. If you want to go and check him out, he covers a lot of the Watts case, and he's starting to dip into the paranormal, right?
Oh, he's been doing paranormal for quite some time, where he'll watch videos, and we've been talking about trying to do more of a panel style like this. And I will tell you guys, Nick is really tired today. So if you notice, he's quiet. He's just really drained, but he did not want to cancel. So
that was nice of him.
Yeah.
And this is your channel, the Crafted Evidence Podcast. You like to do, you craft and talk about true crime, or you just craft and talk about whatever you want to talk about, right?
Yeah. And then you and I have been doing these, wellness chats, where we're going to try to do more of that, where we do a live stream and we talk about health and wellness. So I've gotten a lot of emails, Amy, that people feel like it has been helpful. Amy and I did an interview recently, actually, with Nicole Atkinson, and we talk about her breast cancer fight. I will tell you, we did not speak about the crime, and we never will to her. That is not what we wanted to talk about. She has a lot to share in her life, health-wise. So we're hoping that, she does jump back on YouTube and maybe host with Amy and I for the Wellness Files, if she feels up for it in the future.
That would be wonderful. And this is my channel if you want to check it out. It's gotten a little bit of a facelift over the weekend. So yeah, this was really great. And I hope our psychics will consider joining us again. And I hope Nick gets his power back.
Yeah, I'm like, bizarre that that happened, but
Holy
also,
zi-
you know, yeah, I mean, also, I just wanted to throw out there too, I didn't want to mean, I know, her family wants that case closed, and I don't want to throw any disrespect out there to them in any way, but I just thought that Nick's dream was a great example of how sometimes things come to us that we aren't anticipating. Like maybe he was thinking about it that day, and maybe that's why he had the dream. But I do think sometimes there's a higher power out there, and things come to us and we don't know why. So that's one
I
of the
think
reasons
so
I wanted
too.
him to share. So
Yeah, I mean, I think Shanann's come to me in dreams too, and I just feel really close
yes,
to the girls and Shanann, and I think those of us that cover the case and we cover it respectfully, just we do it because we feel so close to them. One of the reasons. So,
yeah, that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay, well, I will see you
I'll
on the
take
flip
you
side,
off.
Mama.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, Amy, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye. Oops. Okay, guys, that's it for tonight. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Go over to those psychics channels and book yourself a reading. Subscribe to Jen's channel, my channel, Zowoki's channel. And if nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you guys this. I love you guys so, so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
I miss my cue, baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep.
Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me.
Baby, I'm dancing with you tonight, and it feels fine. Feels fine. Baby, I'm dancing with you tonight. Here in the blue, I'm dancing and falling out, hoping for some time with you.